finally, what of the future? The future of Cuba and Fidel Castro's own future. Will he remain in power until the day he dies? And what really has been the effect of the American embargo against his country? If the embargo were lifted, would your country be economically sound? Would you then have no rationing? Would you then have no economic hardship if the embargo were lifted? Is that all it takes? Or is it some failure?
Look, even if the embargo is not lifted, Cuba will continue to advance. The blockade has taught us a few lessons. We have become a hard-working people. We have become an austere people. We have learned how to tighten our belts, but we have also learned how to be generous. Tell me, what other country in the world has 3,000 doctors working for free in Africa and Latin America? In the mountains, in the jungles, this country alone, this garbage of a country, this trash of a society, can send 3,000 people. Dr. Barbara, I'm not answering to you. No, I'm answering to those who feel like that. I'm answering to the people who feel like that.
Mr. President, do you think that the basis of the embargo against Cuba is all politics in America today?
Yes, political reasons. It's all politics, and they do not enjoy the support of the majority of the American people. What would be the damage if the U.S. government had lifted the embargo? Where is the glory for the United States of keeping this embargo here? It doesn't make sense, Barbara.
But to many Americans, and certainly to the Bush administration, the embargo does make sense. It was originally imposed to isolate Castro, compelling him to make democratic reforms or even to step down. Neither has happened. Do you think about transferring power now, or do you think that you will die as the leader of Cuba?
It would have to be an accident that would incapacitate me to do my work.
You will stay in charge until you are gone?
You should understand that this is not up to me, Barbara. Whether I stay in charge or not, it is not up to me. I would have to ask for our people's permission. They could consider that treason. You know, I have the experience of so many years, and they value that, Barbara.
The reality is that in 4 decades, Fidel Castro has never given his people the choice of another leader. Nor do they really know much about his personal life. He prefers it that way. We do know that Castro was a child of privilege who turned his back on the establishment after law school. His current wife occasionally appears in public, as she did here with Elian Gonzalez, but she is not usually seen at Castro's side. We know Fidel Castro is a grandfather, but the details are sketchy. Mr. President, Senor President Castro, will you indulge me in one personal question, because we are talking about children.
Are you going to give me a test?
No test.
Go on, ask your question.
We are talking about children. And I know you are a very private man. But we hear that you have 5 wonderful sons.
It's prohibited to go into my personal life.
Grandchildren.
It's not our way.
Great-grandchildren. And even a son.
Yes, we have descendants and all that, but that's absolutely out of the question. It's my private life.
I tried.
My human right.
I tried.
It's my human right. I cling to my human right to defend my privacy.
I care a reporter's right to ask the question.
Of course, and it is my human right to say no.
You're right. One thing, are there triplets? Grandchildren, triplets? Wouldn't you like to know?
Well, I think you are. There's some triplets around. I've heard that they exist.
But someday he may even give an answer. You and I have not talked like this in 25 years, and I appreciate your letting me ask questions. I'm not sure we're going to be...
Now I'm thinking about the next 25 years. Why not?
Okay.
I'm already thinking about our next interview in 25 years, Barbara.
Thank you, President Castro, for your time.
Thank you very much.
I'll be back with some closing thoughts.
Vision from Sprint, clearly. A whole new way to look at wireless.
I very much doubt that Fidel Castro and I will be doing another interview in 25 years. It's hard to say what Cuba will be like then. When Castro is gone, the embargo will probably be lifted. Cuba will be flooded with American tourists and their money. There may also be an invasion of American businessmen, a McDonald's on the corner, a Hilton hotel. Will the country then become a democracy as we know it? Or will the people want to keep the socialist government they have now? Castro thinks so. He has been in power now for more than 40 years. Most Cubans, even those middle-aged, have never known another leader. Castro has been their father, their protector, their hero. So they may fear change. For others, especially Cuban Americans, Castro is a man who impoverished their homeland, imprisoned many of their friends, and destroyed their ideals. They will undoubtedly feel relief when he is gone. So the future of Cuba is uncertain. One thing is certain. Cuba is a very small country, but the figure of Fidel Castro has been huge. And that's our program for tonight. John Miller will be back with me next week, and for all of us at 2020, have a good weekend and good night.
Pretty girl.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABC News, now traveling to all 50 states in 50 weeks in search of America.
Gene Hackman and Will Smith star in Enemy, Saturday on ABC.
It's happened again. A man pumping gas is shot dead, but this time police say there were witnesses.